Hello out there, I'm Chidozie,
And Walter.
and you're welcome to the Minority Report Nigeria. Very often, whenever same-sex attracted people talk about the difficulties that they face, the difficulties that are a diurnal reality of just navigating a very homophobic space. You usually have people come up with such comments as "leave the country" and all of those things. And while Nigeria is a hellhole, and while lots of people, obviously me included, want to get out of this mess, you know, today on the episode, we are going to be considering whether a gay exodus is any sort of solution to the homophobia that gay people have to deal with in this country on a daily basis.
I do remember seeing a post on Facebook, and it was essentially a friend of mine calling out another post that was made by an LGBT activist, no less, especially saying gay Nigerians get out of Nigeria. Nigeria is not where you're supposed to be, and all that stuff. And in the comment section, somebody came to the defense of that sentiment, saying, yeah, but it's the truth now. Nigerians, we shouldn't, since Nigeria is the way it is, gay Nigerians should leave and all that. And I did come into the comment section and I was like, okay, well, you defender of a gay exodus out of Nigeria, here's the thing though. When you're saying this, who are you talking to, really? Because
that's a really important question.
It feels to me like whenever this solution is being proffered as the way out, there is a certain set of people that you are talking to, or that you have chosen, whether deliberately or unintentionally, to ignore that there are all sorts of gay people who exist in Nigeria. In the same way that you get all walks of people in Nigeria who are both rich, middle class, and poor, that's the same in all these sectors. You have gay people living amongst them. There are gay people who are street urchins, there are gay people who are conductors, drivers, plumbers, like the gay people who are in every walk of life. So whenever you're saying leave the country, you're just thinking your fellow bougie friends, and those are the people who you're speaking to. When you are making that as the standpoint or the manifesto for your advocacy for LGBT people in Nigeria, how do you think those who cannot afford even to think about leaving, how are they supposed to react to this? What are they supposed to, like, isn't there a sense of exclusion when you're pushing this sentiment about people leaving Nigeria? It just feels so.
And also, let's even look at this critically. Like, immigration is a process of selection. It's a selective process. Like, first of all, we live in a world where resources can move back and forth, but people cannot move, right? A lot of these countries, particular countries in the West, places that used to be havens for people who, seeking asylum, they are becoming less and less so. Asylums have become a lot more tricky, and with the status quo where, resources can move easily, but there's a lot more restriction on people moving. It then becomes the question of who are the sort of people that are then able to move, right? The ability to move depends largely on bankability. So what are the skills that you have and all of this is what then happens to people who can only offer unskilled labor? What then happens to people who don't have access to resources? What then happens to people who cannot afford tickets? Who can have do you even know how much it costs now to apply the application process to get a visa, to a UK visa, for example? The cost of those kind of things. So these sort of I can't even call this a solution. Like,
it's not.
They are really harebrained.
It's very, very, and
how
very
really,
dishonest.
yes, how really can you suggest, particularly from the context of somebody who touts himself or herself as an an LGBT activist, how is this suggestion you are making that, oh, this is my inspired idea, all gay people should leave Nigeria? It's a very stupid idea. When you're talking about LGBT rights in the country, what is really crucial is being able to build a movement. Donor dollars do not build a movement. They can help with setting up clinics, facilities, organizations, but they do not build a movement. The people are the lifeblood of a movement, right? So how can you be plugged into the idea of a movement pushing for equal rights for people in the country regardless of sexual orientation, and a solution that's being preferred is
for them
to move? Like, what sort of solution is that really? So what that then means is that, you know, the status quo is it's impossible to change the status quo. That's
here's the funny
conclusion
thing.
you're coming
Like,
to.
let's just say, for argument's sake, that, you know, it is not so hard to get a visa. It is not hard for people to move. It is not it's not an uphill task for you know, people with unskilled things to offer. It's not so hard for them to, like, let's just say all these things are even, and then the solution, move out of Nigeria. So then people who are gay just keep moving, and then their generations keep giving birth to people, more generations of gay people keep coming up. Like, how does it feel? Like, and they just keep moving. Like, everybody comes into a society that has not dealt with the problematic nature of equal rights in it. All they know
has not even dealt with the basic fact.
All they know that
all human
everybody
societies are heterogeneous.
Yeah, all they know is that
be the same.
gay people are moving out of the country. Like, it's cowardly, it's lazy, it's lazy as hell. Like, it feels like, you know, you because, well, whether we like it or not, these kinds of things, the movements to make equal rights or to establish the LGBT equality in every society, is hard work, and it's dedication, and it is commitment, and it involves people staying in the place where that needs all that hard work and doing it there, not running, moving away, or encouraging people to move so that maybe from outside there we can then fight it from there. Like, it just makes no sense.
How do you fight it? Because the most you can do from outside the country is really send money. Who are you going to send money to? Who is like, but so it's not any sort of solution.
It's really not.
Yes, why this country is shit, and, you know, everybody who can afford to should want to move. There is an importance. The having a movement is really, really important, and it undercuts the actual work that people do. You know, it undercuts the work that people do at the grassroots level to sort of suggest that, you know, it's impossible, that change is impossible, and the only solution to be had is, you know, with the tickets and to some God knows where.
Because here's the thing, people are doing the work in Nigeria
uncelebrated.
You are very
unknown.
Uncelebrated, very unknown, very like, there are a lot of people who are doing the work one way or the other, in one medium or the other, however small or however big, to contribute to the welfare of LGBT Nigerians living in Nigeria. So it's just very insulting and very disregarding of their efforts to say, well, at the end of the day, just move. It's not the way forward, really. It's just not.
It's not any sort of way.
It's not. Whether backward or sideways.
Backward or sideways, it's really not. I think it also, like, you notice with the last couple of conversations we've had, this is something that keeps coming up. How the so-called mouthpieces of the community and all that, how in their dissection of the issue seems to be this insulation from what's on ground.
It's important to interrogate your objectives at every step you take. It's important to ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing, so that you can stay in tune with, so that when you say certain things, it doesn't come off like you're speaking to a room full of your peers. You have to understand that it is not just those who you see in dinner parties and who you mingle with that you're speaking to, or you're speaking for, or that you're fighting for. Everybody, there's diversity in the community, and there's, as much as there are those who are privileged, there are those who don't have privilege, and the rights you're fighting for is just as much for them as it is for those who you see every day. So,
and also, the larger the platform, the more responsibility it demands, and the ideas you put out,
that should be recognized.
It should be more well considered. That's a show for today. Until we come your way next time, hopefully with more grits to grind. I am Chidozie.
And I'm Walter. Bye.
Bye.